Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my first ever book review on YouTube. But before I discuss the book, I'd like to take 1 second here and say that this is my first video on this channel, so I really do appreciate everyone watching. Thank you very much, and hopefully there are more videos to come in the future, so stay tuned for that. I've been thinking about doing this for a while now, so this is really exciting for me, and I hope that you enjoy it. And also, please feel free to let me know what you think of this video, or let me know anything else that you want. So, with that being said, let's get started. I'm going to be talking about The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. This is a book that was first published in 1990, and it's actually the third book by Tim O'Brien that deals with the Vietnam War. Previously, he wrote Going After Casiano, which won a National Book Award. So he was pretty well known before writing this, The Things They Carried. But The Things They Carried is definitely Tim O'Brien's most well-known book that he has written. So The Things They Carried is a collection of short stories, and there are about 20 stories in this book here. Um, they range from about 5 or 6 pages to anywhere like 20 or 30 pages long. So that definitely makes the book easy to read. You're not going to be reading the same thing for very long. It switches perspectives, it switches to new stories pretty rapidly. So that's one thing I like about this book is sort of the pace that it goes at. Another thing I want to mention is that The Things They Carried is a pretty well received book. It's sold over 2 million copies since its publication, according to Wikipedia, and it's one of the most popular books written about the Vietnam War. So I've seen um, some of the stories in this book included in fiction anthologies meant to collect, the stories that people should read in their lifetimes. So a lot of people really enjoy this book and believe it's important. It's not just me, so um, I believe that speaks to the book's power and its greatness. So definitely one that is important both in history and also as a literary experience. But enough about what other people think. I want to talk mostly about my personal experience with this book. So I first read this book in high school. Um, it was in one of those anthologies that you often get, and I read the first story, which is also called The Things They Carried, and it pretty much blew me away. In that story, the narrator, he talks about all the various things that the soldiers carry, both like physical objects like guns and helmets, and also non-physical things like memories, emotions, all the baggage that comes with being in a war. And that's just a really powerful story, and one that um, you might think represents the book as a whole, but there's a lot more that goes into it. There's stories about that's a very unique story, but it doesn't speak to the book as a whole. This book deals a lot with men's experiences in war and the psychological effects that war can have on a person. And one of the things this book deals with is also the experience of men and soldiers in their lives after war, and the difficulty of assimilating into society after dealing with a traumatic event. One thing I like about this book is that it doesn't really take a stand on saying if the war is right or wrong. It more is focused on simply presenting what happened in the war from sort of a journalist perspective, is what I like to think. It presents the facts without really commenting on whether or not they're right or wrong. It simply presents what happened and leaves the reader to decide for him or herself if their own opinions. So that's something I really appreciate in fiction. And now for the million-dollar question, would I recommend The Things They Carried? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. The Things They Carried is a awesome book. I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in war, interested in psychology, in fiction. So yeah, it's a pretty great book. Highly recommended. Read everything in it. Read it from start to finish. Read it multiple times. It's a great book. Um, and yeah. So yeah, The Things They Carried. Phenomenal, amazing, incredible. And that should just about do it. That's it. I made it through my first video. So if you enjoyed this, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. And there will be more to come in the future, so please stay tuned to this channel. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.